This is my skateboard, and today I'm gonna recreate my skateboard as a fingerboard. That is correct. I actually have a skateboard. I've had so many people ask me if I skateboard, and I kind of don't. I've landed like 5 kick flips, and that was like 2 years ago, so I probably can't skateboard anymore. With that being said though, this is my skateboard. I've had this board for close to 3 years now, and I'll be honest, I haven't really used it a ton. I don't know about you, but I feel like it would be pretty cool to have a fingerboard that looks identical to your skateboard. So let's make a fingerboard that looks just like this. The plies on this board are kind of just like a whitish tan color, so we're just gonna use wood color wood. We got 2 nice pieces of veneer for this project, and I just need to cut out the pieces and then we can start actually building the board. I'm gonna try something with pretty much unknown results. Using a pair of scissors to cut the veneer. That is why you don't cut veneer with scissors. I know a skateboard is like 7 plies, but to make it look a little bit better, we're still gonna be using 5 plies for the fingerboard. We have 3 pieces with the grain going that way, and now we need to cut out 2 pieces with it going that way. So right now, we're pretty much just making a fingerboard. It's hard to comprehend, but we're making a board. This is the mold. Making a fingerboard is so simple. You create this, put it in a mold, and you're done. This will turn into this. It will just be a tiny bit smaller. So the board is in the mold, and while the glue is curing, we're gonna figure out the graphic. Obviously, if I just printed off this graphic and put it on a fingerboard, the scale of a skateboard is quite a bit different than a fingerboard. If this was a fingerboard, this would probably be like a 28mm board because of how narrow it would be if it was a fingerboard. So I think the best option with this board is gonna be taking this graphic and putting it into Photoshop, and that way we can kind of extend this blue part out on all sides, and then we'll have a lot of room to work with it on a fingerboard. It is actually a new day now, so we get to take this out of the mold. I can't tell if this angle is sick or if I just look really short. I found this picture of the exact same deck that I have, and then I was able to take it to Photoshop and do this. On the actual board, it says Mason on it, but I had to do something different. That looks a lot better. So after I made those graphics, I went to Staples and I printed off these. I have no idea what these are gonna look like and if they're even gonna work, but before we open those up, let's finish the board. Every time you make a fingerboard, you're at this point and you just hope it didn't stick to the mold. Every piece of veneer is a little bit different, and if one has just like a crack in it, the glue all seeps into the mold and the board is impossible to get out. Or if you make the mold just way too tight when you put the board in, sometimes the mold just pushes so hard it kind of seeps through, but it should be good. It appears to be kind of good. That is a nice board. It's been a while since I've just made a plain whiteboard, and this thing looks beautiful. This is the shaper tool, and this goes on the board so we can trace out exactly what the shape is going to be. Now at this point, you actually could just hold on to this entire block and just sand it like that, but I'm going to take a pencil, trace it on, and then we'll just take this off and sand it. I always seem to forget how simple it is to sand a fingerboard. That was pretty easy. I'm gonna give the board a quick sand and then I'll be able to put the graphic on. Right now, there is a glitch on YouTube where if you like the video, you get 30% more consistent at kickflips. It's your choice, but 30% is 30%. So I'm done sanding the board, and this thing is looking kind of clean. I still need to drill the countersinks for this board, but first we're gonna put the graphic on. Is that the same graphic as my skateboard? I don't know if you guys can tell, but the print quality on these are so good. All of these graphics are actually a little bit of a different size just because it's really hard to tell exactly how big a fingerboard is while you're making a graphic. So I just printed off a ton of different sizes, so we're just gonna hope that one of them works. On my skateboard, this part of the graphic actually covers most of the board, so we're probably gonna pick one of these longer graphics. I think this one will actually work really well. It can be pretty difficult to get the graphic lined up perfectly on the board, so I like to hold the board up to a bunch of light as I'm putting the graphic on, and then you can position it just right. You'd be surprised, but I pretty much only use Elmer's glue to put graphics on fingerboards. Have I tried anything else? No, but this stuff works. This glue soaks into the wood so fast that we gotta work fast. So the graphic is on the board and you can see it kind of overhangs on the edges a bit. So I'm gonna take this file and file it right off. Why is this skateboard copying the fingerboard? This is a clean board. So I feel like it's one thing to actually make this board copy the skateboard, but I feel like we should take it one step further and make all the parts match as well. So we need to set up this fingerboard exactly like this board. First, we're gonna grip the board. I think that's the cleanest grip job for the shortest amount of time it's taken me to put grip on a board. I did that in like 30 seconds. So this board has a silver base plate with a silver hanger and then pretty much silver hardware, but the bushings are kind of this orange color, so we're gonna match the bushings as well. I also scuffed the graphic a little bit in this spot, but it turns out on the actual board there's kind of some scuff marks, so it kind of just matches better. This is the new G16 board I set up in my last video, and these wheels kind of match like exactly the same. So I feel like if we put these wheels on these trucks, put these trucks on the board, it'll match pretty good. I got these bushings off Black River about 2 years ago, and I don't really know where the other two went, so we gotta figure out something else. As it turns out, the bushings on the Tech Deck Pro Series board are pretty much identical to the ones on the skateboard. It's starting to get weird now that I'm looking at this board and I look at this and they're exactly the same. This is up there for one of my favorite boards I've probably ever made. Before I actually compare the board to the board, we gotta do the kickflip test. I'm not feeling too nervous about the kickflip because this board looks sick. First kickflip on the board. The board probably is not gonna be good. I'm gonna give myself a sketchy redo just because the board kind of looks good. There we go. This board is actually feeling dialed. I also purposely didn't put any varnish on this board because this board isn't super glossy and I think it just looks a little bit better like this. I didn't make the graphics, so it's not really my work that's cool, but dude, this thing is kind of cool. I was honestly thinking the proportion of the board was gonna look quite a bit different just because this board, like, to scale is a little bit wider. But overall though, these both look so similar. This is up there, probably my top 5 favorite boards of all time. I think I should also get better at skateboarding now that I have like a fingerboard of the exact same skateboard. I want to know what you guys think about this board in the comments, so go ahead and drop a comment. Also, I want you guys to let me know what other board I should copy because I feel like these turn out all pretty good. Thank you guys all so much for supporting the channel, and we just hit 140,000 subscribers. That is quite a few people who watch these videos. So thank you to everybody watching my videos, and I'll see you guys next time.